Bright Horizons with
Deb
and
and Jim,
Jim.
good morning. Happy Friday. We're back
Yes, on a regular schedule.
for
That's
now.
unusual.
We missed you as we always do when we're not with you.
It's so nice to be with you. And you must remember Saturday we were with Marie.
That's right. We're over at Marie's house with our beautiful piano. Oh, what a beautiful pianist you are, Marie.
Uh,
What an enjoyable
Beautiful
afternoon.
experience.
Yes. We sang, we ate, and that's what it's all
We
about.
want to thank Chef
Fun.
Greg and Deb for the
Thank you, my
delicious
husband.
baked ziti,
Delicious baked ziti and meatballs and sausage
sausage.
and a salad
Oh,
that we forgot.
magnifique.
It's funny. I have to say it now because I
Right.
mentioned it's too late. My husband goes all out and he did up a beautiful garden salad and he put this and that and he put everything to the side knowing that Jim doesn't like certain things and he wasn't sure what Marie liked. He knows what I like, so he had like little containers set up with onion and croutons
The
and this
perfect
and that.
chef
So he had them all displayed. What do you think happens? He brings the Italian and the blue cheese
dressing.
dressing, and we get to Marie's. We're like, okay, what's missing? The salad dressing was there, but the salad was still in the fridge. So we looked at each other, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so funny. And I had my mouth
All
all
that
set for
preparation.
salad, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, we ended up eating it. I mean, naturally, you have to go bad, but it was funny. I mean, of all things that he did, he had the big ziti, and he said it could be worse. We could have forgotten the big
Right?
ziti.
Well, it
So
was so
hey,
nice that they
six of one,
brought
half a
it to
dozen of
Marie's
another.
house.
Yeah.
So we thank you for that. It was a delightful afternoon.
Oh, yes, it was. And I would do it
And
again and again.
Marie's such an inspiration to be 93 years of age.
Oh,
Imagine.
honey, I just think it's
And
wonderful.
the
And
talents,
she's fun. You're so much fun,
yes.
Marie.
And her creativity, her artwork, she's a writer,
Yes.
and beautiful pianist. I'm just amazed by Marie.
I love your sense of humor, Marie.
Yes.
Funny. I mean, she even said to me, Debbie, you make me laugh. In fact, I called her before we were leaving. I said, I just want to verify your address. She goes, well, I hope so. She goes, I wouldn't want you going around in circles. But that's Marie.
It's so cute.
I feel like I've known her all my life. Anyway, our topic today, speaking about creativity, is
I just I just wanted to acknowledge my sister's birthday again because we had a lovely dinner
Angela. Happy
Sunday
birthday.
evening
Yes.
at our dear, they're like
I
family.
love
So
this picture Jim shared.
yes,
You're going to see it in a moment.
we were at Ted and Valerie Rose's house, and they made a wonderful dinner. And then here's my sister, full of laughter and liveliness, with her
Angela, you look
birthday
like you had a
glasses,
ball of fun. My
the birthday
goodness.
hat, and the piece of cake. Happy birthday. Buon compleanno, Angela, my
Aw,
bellissima sorella. So we had so much fun. So thank you, Valerie Rose and Ted for hosting us.
how
And John was
nice.
there, my wonderful brother-in-law. And we had such a festive time. It was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Happy birthday, Angela. Again, you look
So
like you had a lot of fun.
when you see that, you'd think of creativity because
There
everything
you
we do
go,
is to
right.
create,
What are some of
right?
the examples of creativity? Creative could be so many methods. I mean, we have making connections, asking questions,
Yeah, it's the use of our imagination to
right,
produce
let your
something.
imagination flow. That's how you become creative. When I got up this morning, I'm thinking, well, what am I going to wear? Okay.
See, creative. Look at the
I had to
pearls,
put my pearls, my matching earrings.
pretty blue, light
Creativity.
blue.
I love light blue. Experimenting,
Yeah.
networking every day that we do in life constantly. And it's a wonderful thing. I remember I was thinking as a young girl going to kindergarten, remember what we called construction paper,
Yes.
the different colors. I used to love shopping with my mom, going to get school supplies, a little tiny pouch with a zipper that held your number two pencils and your pens and and of course the crayons. I mean, it was a big to do.
Do
And
you,
I kept everything. I had such pride in my little book bag and my pencil.
right?
I still have a
I
pencil.
was going to ask you, do you have any of the creations?
I have so many Valentine's, Thanksgiving, and it's amazing and falling apart a little bit, but
Right.
I'll tell you, it's still intact.
Yeah, because in grammar school, I
I
remember
remember
also
making all
being
those
so
wonderful
creative.
cards,
Yes.
for your
Yes.
parents and, to mommy and daddy,
In
happy
fact,
turkey day or
I,
whatever it
I
was.
still have some of the ones my nieces have created on my refrigerator.
Wonderful.
I don't think they realize that I have these are from when they were young children. Now
Oh,
they're grown
wow.
adults.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's one of them is I love you, and they call me Unkie,
Unky.
Unkie,
Unky.
and it's each letter taped together. So it's just so beautiful. I have that on the
Oh,
refrigerator,
Unky.
and then a couple of the photographs of them, but also things that they produce coloring. But I was thinking with my parents, and my mother always made a fuss. I'm sure your mother
My
did too,
mother was
right?
the same way,
Came
and
home with your
yeah,
creation.
we loved it. You know, it was just it was a big to do on the refrigerator or sitting out on the table for when Dad came home to see it.
And one item I remembered was the shop teacher gave us a piece of copper, and we created art by taking a hammer and different tools. So you would put either small pointed holes,
Oh, to make like
or
the indentation of
yes,
a
of an
okay
image, and it
of
was
an
I
image.
created
Nice,
it was
the Mona Lisa.
that would have been nice. I still
Well,
have it somewhere. I was looking this morning, but I couldn't find it to bring it here. But it was really for a
I'm
child.
picturing that for a child. That's
Very
very
clever, right?
advanced, very advanced
For
and
the
clever.
teacher to
Yes,
teach us how to do that.
that's very
Yeah, I
very
really
nice.
enjoyed that as a child.
Art was one of my, of course, favorites, and oh my gosh, those crayons, the Crayola. I used to love that. Was my favorite part of going back to school. My school supplies
Yes,
and keeping my pencils sharp. It was a big to do, you know.
and,
But I
and
loved art all my life
and then in junior high school, I had a
growing
shop
up.
class. Did you take shop at
No.
all?
Oh well, I did take. Believe it or not, I took a cooking class,
Right.
and I married
They
Rick.
gave us cooking for one
Yeah.
semester too.
I did do that. Cooking, I did do,
And
and design.
in the shop class, we had to bring in a decanter, and we were making a lamp out of it.
Oh yes.
But we had to make holes in the decanter with this machinery,
So
and unfortunately, it takes a certain degree of pressure, and if you have too much pressure, it cracks. Mine cracked,
ooh.
so I was not successful with that
That's
decanter.
okay. That's how we learn. That's how
Right.
we create. That's how
Right.
we create.
Right.
Right.
So you just have to apply constant pressure, 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 and not be, too anxious.
You know,
I guess I was a little too anxious, and it cracked the
well, you're so
decanter.
excited about
Yes.
making something become a reality, right in front of your eyes. So, and that brings to mind, not that this is creative in any way whatsoever. I have to shoot from the hip on this one. Remember when they made us in science dissect frogs?
Yes.
Oh my word, that was horrible. I remember gagging. I had
That's
to leave I got so nauseous. I
right.
remember what I had to leave the class.
And the formaldehyde.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
horrible. And that was, and I had no choice but to do it because I had to get a grade,
I think I think
But
some
I
people,
really got sick.
yes, I think some students actually did react that
And
way.
I would not stay. And I had a big, I was really upset with my science teacher. I was like, you can't make me do this. How could you do this? But all the other kids, and then we had, of course, the kids who wanted to be funny, the little boys, and throwing body parts around. Like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous.
That's creative.
Boys will be boys. But you get the whole crew. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's not creative. And I have to bring that up. So, but people who perceive the world with a fresh perspective create. Every
Right.
day it's like, okay, it's a new Friday. It's a
Yes.
fresh perspective in front of us. What are we going to create today? Okay.
It's a good question we should ask
Your
ourselves every
outfit
day.
is lovely. I
Thank you.
love your outfit. It's
Thank you.
look at the time. Everything.
you.
It's silky. It's like a tan, a little bit of
Appreciate
orange,
it.
autumn.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful colors.
Thank you. It's a little
So
cool here today, by the
creative,
way, in Florida.
very creative.
Yes. So I also wanted to mention music.
love
When
that
when
sound.
did you first start singing? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh, forever.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like forever. Forever.
Did you
my
sing
my
in school?
father and oh yes, we had drama.
Oh.
I took drama.
Did it start in grade school?
And yes, and I enjoyed it so much. Actually, fifth grade is when I really took a liking to it, and I just loved it from that point on. I loved to get onto the stage. I remember there was one play that I was supposed to sing in, but I absolutely ended up with another part. How it happened, I don't know. I had a doll, and I had to say one line. Could it be a doll with lots of clothes to wear, or something like that? But no matter what it was, I would grab it because I was so anxious. I had no fear of being on stage, no fear at all.
That's terrific.
As a young child, no fear of singing either. But I ended up wanting, and somebody said you should go into soap operas when I was a young girl. Well, obviously I didn't, but
Right.
I liked it. I enjoyed that. Singing is something that was always in my household.
And what about
growing
an
up.
instrument? In school, did you play an instrument?
Bongos and my brother played drums, David.
Right.
My father played drums, played the guitar, bongos.
I don't-
I never really, per se, played an instrument.
Okay.
Because I'd play like at home with my
Right.
father and
Right.
play around like that. Tambourine,
Right.
of course.
Right.
But not a particular instrument that I favored, no.
I can't remember. Did I tell the story about the aptitude test, music aptitude test in school? Around
don't
fourth or
believe so.
fifth grade, they
I
gave
don't
us a
believe
musical
so.
aptitude test because they wanted to determine what type of instrument we should play.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that.
Well, my sister had it the year before. She's a year older than I am, and she was a string person, and they made her play the violin. So for a year, I had to listen to the violin being practice violin, and it just
Um,
wasn't something that I was really, had any desire to do. Well, I take the music aptitude test, and what do they tell me? I'm a string person
oh,
also, and they want
okay.
me to play the violin. Luckily, I had a choice, and I said, no, I don't want to play the violin. But would you believe they didn't allow me to play any? If I didn't play the violin, they would not allow me to play any
Oh, I'm
instrument. I wanted to
surprised.
play the clarinet.
I would think they would say certainly,
I know
whatever
you
you're
would,
comfortable
you would
with.
think they would encourage you,
You would think.
but they did not, and I did not study music, so I was really disappointed. Unfortunately, I was never able. So now I can't read music, and I can't play the piano, which I will. I've told you before, I'm going to play the
That
piano.
surprises me,
I know,
honestly. I'm glad you brought
I
that up
know.
because
Stifling a child's
that's
creativity,
terrible. I mean, if anything, you encourage and say, okay, what is it that you feel comfortable? If
right?
I were the teacher, what is it, Jim, that you feel
Right,
comfortable with?
right. And that was the New York
And
City
put
school
that right in
system.
front of you
Yeah,
so you are able to do what you're comfortable with.
right.
I
That
never
was the
heard of
New York
such a
City
thing.
school system, unfortunately, at that
Well,
time.
I'm not happy about that.
No.
Not at all. No,
That's why I was wondering if they still did the same thing. Maybe they've
no, I
stopped it by the
never
time you
really.
went to school.
No, I never, no, never had that. But I know that I always, music was always a big thing in my house. Like I said, my parents entertained a lot. We had company, always playing music, always. So,
Speaking of creativity, I want to show the artwork that I was given
oh
by
my
Deb.
gosh, that
Remember
was
she
some
created
time
this?
ago.
Yes.
Oh my.
Look at that. She even signed it down on the lower portion of the
Did I? Yeah, I
beautiful
did.
artwork.
I did.
I love it. See the bright horizons?
I had the bright horizons
Yeah.
of flower. I have a thing with flowers. I love
This
to.
could be our background.
There you go. I love
Our new
to
background.
draw flowers. There's something
Yes.
about flowers.
Flowers in the sun. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
still cherish
I'm
it.
so glad. That means a lot to me. Because as you know, I love anything that's on paper. If you give me something,
Yes.
give me your heart.
My interest went more into writing rather than creating art in that area.
And basically, when you put the two together, it's the same.
Yes.
What makes a song? Writers.
Yes.
You have to write a song to make a song.
Oh,
Which
yes.
reminds me.
We're
Dun,
writing a
da-da.
song.
Jim and I are in the process of writing a song.
So shortly we'll reveal
get
it to all
ready.
of you. A
So,
tease.
yes. Now, you said not writing, but on the contrary,
Yes.
it's very much a part of creativity.
Yes.
Your writing is superb.
Thank you.
When
Appreciate it.
I read Jim's columns that he publishes it's just it always has significant meaning and it touches me in such a way.
Oh, thank you. I
And you
appreciate
have
that.
to go online. By the way, what's the website?
Seabreeze.
Seabreezepublications.com. And you'll see the different papers that Seabreeze Publications have. We here on the island have the Islander, but you have the PGA, Community News.
Yes.
And that's the paper that Jim's in, PGA Community News.
Every
And
month I write
every
a
month
column.
it's fabulous.
Thank you. It started when
And
I
I
was.
sometimes go back because you'll pinpoint something in your column and I'll be like, oh wow, I have to read that again. It just hit me.
It all started in high school. I was the editor in chief of my high school newspaper.
There you go.
And that was so much
So,
fun. I really enjoyed that.
It wasn't meant for you to read music. You already
Right.
had the music in you.
Yes.
It's true. You had the music. I got the music in me. I got the music in me. There is a song like that. Yeah. I got the music in me. Okay.
We're talking about
Why
creating music.
creative is important. It allows us to view and solve problems too.
That's
Not
true.
that we want a lot of problems, but it's challenges more or less. Let's say challenges. You have to think outside the box. Be creative, right? As you were saying, speaking
Well,
of
I wanted to
creativity,
mention with creativity. I've mentioned Ann Anello before. She's the one who sang to your Uncle Trini at his
Yes,
celebration
yes.
in the Hard Rock. By the way, I drove by there on Wednesday.
Did you?
On
Wasn't
Wednesday,
it amazing? The
I had to
guitar?
go down to the Italian consulate to renew my Italian passport,
Ah.
which I love. But I left 6:30 in the morning for a 9:15 appointment because I didn't.
The
it's
traffic. You're so smart in doing that. Believe
And
me.
I thought of Deb and
you-
Greg because
Aw.
I drove right by the Hard Rock Hotel.
We go. That's
It's
our
a
playground.
huge guitar. It's in the shape of a guitar. It's just so beautiful.
We saw the whole entire formation of this from the ground up. And it was amazing when it got to this big, and I said to Greg, wow, I can hardly wait for it to be
Yes.
completed. When it was completed, it's like nothing you've ever seen
I
before.
know.
You walk in, you're going like this, and the whole hotel. It is just, and at night they have these wonderful the light shows
I
are
wish I could have stopped to take a
fabulous.
photograph of the
I
exterior.
have one on my
Oh,
phone.
do you?
Maybe
Yeah, I mean, I was traveling quite fast along the
I took a
turnpike,
video on my phone, and I
but I
just
thought of the
several
two of you because that's one of their favorite places to go.
love going there. And I mean, you don't have to be a big gambler, but it just the ambiance, it just everything about the hotel. It's fun. The hotel's gorgeous, and the different restaurants, all the food you can eat,
So the
and of
story
course
I
we
was
do
going
like
to
to
relate
gamble.
is about my dear Aunt Anello. I was talking with her one day. We were talking about breakfast, and I mentioned oatmeal and
Oh,
Quaker oats and how I prepare the oatmeal. And I boil the water and then I pour it into the pan, into the bowl, and it absorbs it, and then you can add milk and eat it.
I
Well,
remembered. Yeah, you're
yes,
so cute.
Anne was
I love it.
preparing it on the stove top, and it's a mess to clean the pot. So did I mention she wrote a song for me?
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
awesome.
did I
Play it
play
again.
it?
Yeah, play it again. I
Oh, we
want to.
did play it.
No,
Okay.
no.
I couldn't remember
This
that
is
I played
amazing.
it.
I love it. This is so superb. I love it. Play it again.
So we were talking about health, and
This
Anne
is
created the
creative.
song. Yeah.
Very creative. Listen.
You gotta listen to Jim. For all your health needs, call on
Health
him.
needs.
When you start a feeling weakly and thin and a bit chagrin, call
See, I
Jim.
have a song written for me.
He knows all about
He knows
oats.
all about it.
Lots and lots of
Quaker
Quaker
oats.
Quaker Oats.
oats.
That's fun. I
Each
love
bite
it.
you'll feel so mighty and strong. You'll never go wrong with
Isn't that
Jim.
funny?
I love
But
it.
that's
Yay.
creativity. Thank you, Anne.
That's very creative. And you gotta call, and it stays. It's a catchy tune, so it stays in your head, which is even better because
I-
now you gotta call Jim, not just for your Quaker Oats, but for your real estate needs.
And I was teasing Anne. I said, "I'll send you the because I'm
I
gonna
love
play.
it.
I'll send you the royalties, Anne."
Hey, why not?
It's her song that
Hey,
she created.
don't ever lose touch with the creative side in you. It's an imprisonment that we live in society because we lose touch. Always let your creative juices flow, even when you think something is not a good idea. I found that to be true with myself and other people in
Yes.
my life, whether it's family or whoever. I maybe I'm learning at a later part. I think I was discussing with you. I'm learning at a later part of my life now because I really feel like would have, could have, should have doesn't matter. The time is now, and I think it's never too late. So do it, and do it with zest. Do it with
Yes,
love. Do it
gusto.
with the gusto. Right, that's the word I was trying to find. Gusto. And I just think it's awesome how you never stop learning. So creative. Be
Which leads me
creative.
to ask again, how are we doing on the book?
The book, I'm glad you brought that up
Okay.
because I brought it out. I am working on a book
Terrific.
and have been for quite some time.
Let's encourage Deb to finish that book.
Yes, thank
Tell us a
you.
little bit about it again.
Well, this is concerning my Shaker 2, our baby boy, who we lost. Is going on 2 years come Mother's Day. Unfortunately, we lost him. I can't believe 2 years has flown by that quickly, almost 2 years. But he was with us for 17 years, and he was a I called him my love bucket
Yes.
because that's exactly what he was. He was a love bucket full of love. Character, like, anyway, I can go on and on, as a mom,
But the
a
book,
fur
what's
baby
the
mom.
title of the book?
Shaker 2, my cockapoo.
Right.
Because he is a cockapoo, or he
And
was. I
tell
should
us
say,
a little bit
cockapoo.
about what the storyline
And the
is.
storyline is how it came to be with Shaker 2.
That's beautiful.
How I wanted to name him a certain name, and my mom got involved and said, no, he's a cockapoo. So I think Shaker 2 is perfect. So Shaker 2 the cockapoo. And that's how it stuck in my mind. My mom was right. I wanted to call him Sinatra. Go figure, What can I tell you? That's me.
That would have been cute, but
Sinatra Cololo,
I always knew
really?
him as Shaker too.
Well, we had a
He was
Shaker 1,
adorable.
obviously, and now with Shaker 2.
He was adorable.
He adored you.
Yes,
Oh,
we
when
had
you
good
come to the
times
house.
together.
Oh, I have several pictures of
Yes,
Jim and Shaker
I
2
love
together.
them.
But that's what I'm worried. Basically, how it came to be, how he came, and how I knew in my heart and soul that I was going to get him. It was a feeling like no other. It was almost like an instinct that said, "Okay, today's the day," which it happened to be because the very first day where we went to a breeder. I went to a breeder. I said, "There's going to be an advertisement that I'm going to come across." I just felt it, and I went to the
Right.
Penny Saver
Right.
at the time.
Okay.
I was working in Palm Beach at the time, and I was stuck on this. I said, "I've got to get that Penny Saver." Lo and behold, the very first ad that was on top, not the second ad down, the third or the fourth, the very first
Right.
ad, I was the first phone call she told me, and it was the first day she ran
It was
it.
meant to be.
And when I went out, 7 puppies, and Shaker happened to be the biggest, but that's not the reason why I picked him. He had a personality, and I said, "Okay, which one of you
Well,
guys
you were
are
attracted
gonna
to each
come
other,
home
right? You were
with
attracted
me?"
to each other.
And of course, Shaker kissed me, and I said, "Okay, that's it. You're it. You're
The
coming
rest
home."
is history.
The rest is history. So that's it. That's a little synopsis about.
But it's a
how-
children's book, right?
Yeah, it's definitely children, of course. But to me, what better to write about than your experiences that are full of love.
And
And that's what writing's all about. Your life. What are you feeling? Start writing right this minute what you're feeling, and then you'd be surprised how a chapter turns into another chapter. And if you have to take all the time in the world, well, to a certain degree. Not don't procrastinate like I've done, because I really should have had this done a long
Right.
time ago. I know I could have, but
And I'm just about finishing
and
my
I know,
children's
and you're
book.
this. I was just going to say,
Yes, I'm so
Jim's
excited.
working on a children's book as well. So
Yes.
these things are so important for our psyche, mind, our heart, our souls, and for the people surrounding us,
Right.
because
And we'll bring
it's a
we'll,
joy.
we'll bring them here to show you.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna encourage
No,
you
no,
to-
no. I mean, this
Yes.
is live, so we're not.
Yes.
We're not. This is not. It doesn't matter if it's live or not. We don't talk unless we talk from the heart. So
Right.
it's just so imperative
Yeah.
how I'm learning later in life that it's so
and
important.
it doesn't
just to
matter
do
what your
everything.
age is.
No.
You can create at any age.
And I think a lot of us and I've seen it around me. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine the other day, and she said to me, I can't believe I haven't done so many things that I've set my mind. I said, well,
She can still do it.
I said, it's never too late. And
Yeah.
she says, Deb, she goes, I feel, she was kind of beating herself up. I said, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that at all. It's not necessary. Just know that you can do it. The time is now.
That's right. And it was funny, also as a notary public, I think I've mentioned that I can perform weddings.
Yes, yes.
And to me, wedding vows are a form of creation, right? So,
absolutely.
So I write wedding vows, but it's very interesting because I've asked the couples for whom I was performing the wedding if they wanted to write their vows, and the majority said no. I thought that was interesting. Maybe they just don't feel that they're creative enough to come up with them.
I guess it's true. You feel like maybe it's an overburden, maybe
Right,
because
right.
you're overwhelmed.
And
it
you're
has
on the
to be
put you on the
such.
spot, right?
It has to be perfected in such a way, but that is not true. What comes to your heart
Yes.
is what
Right.
is on paper.
Right.
That is what's important, and it will come shining through.
So if you do
So
get
if you
married, I
try-
encourage you to write your own wedding vows.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Right, honey, I love you with all of my heart, and we will never part.
See
I'm
that?
a poet, don't you know it? Anyway, no, it's true. I like what you said. That's so funny how we really
Mm-hmm.
know a majority of them really wanted to. I'm
Right,
sure in their
right,
heart of hearts they
right.
really wanted to, but they felt, oh, I don't know, it's a little too much.
Right.
No,
For whatever
even if it's
reason.
one line,
Right.
like I just said, honey, I love you with all my heart. We'll never
Right.
part. That's not much to say, but
Until
if it
death
comes
do us
out,
part. Yeah.
until death.
Yeah.
I don't think that was part of my vows. Love and obey. I don't like the word obey.
We
they
don't
did
say
away
until
with
death
that,
do us
no.
part. We say as long as we both shall
Shall
live.
live, right.
You
As
want to be more
both as we-
positive than the
right.
negative part.
I know it. The one thing that brings to mind, standing at the altar, we had a priest, Father Ryan, and I know that because he spoke with an Irish brogue. I mean, just lovely,
Which church was it?
holy name,
Okay.
and that's where I was a lector at.
Is he
And,
still around, do you know?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's been 35 years, so I don't know.
What was his age approximately, do you think, at the
At
time?
the time, I would say he was in his mid-40s. So yeah.
Okay, so he'd be in his 70s.
He'd be in his 70s. I would say,
You
yeah.
have to try to track him down.
Thank you for that. I never thought about that. But I had to bring him up because I remember at the very end he said, I encourage everybody, please don't throw rice.
Yes.
And
A lot
well,
of
that's
people have slipped
dangerous,
on-
you know.
on the
And,
rice.
and I thought to myself, and I realized I was so tired because the night before we were all anxious and getting ready to prepare for the wedding. And I thought, oh, that's odd. And I realized what he meant. Don't throw rice. It's very dangerous.
And you know what some people throw is bird seed because that way the birds will eat it. And
Yeah, but
you don't
that's
have to
still
worry about it.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
Guess you could slip
I mean,
on
it's
bird
good for the
seed, too.
birds. I don't know if rice.
You could probably slip on birds. No, rice would be bad because it doesn't serve any purpose
True, true.
other than the meaning
Other
behind the
than-
rice.
right.
But it is
I
dangerous.
love rice.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Now I want rice.
When I was thinking of creativity,
I love rice.
I write the articles every month for the PJ Community News, and I wrote once about, Chris Craft boats, those beautiful wooden boats.
Yeah.
This really impressed me because the gentleman behind Chris Craft boats was Christopher Columbus Smith, is his actual name.
No, really.
And he was born in 1861. And when he was
Wow,
about 10 or
1861.
12, he and his brother would carve duck decoys, and out of wood. And then one day they were looking at a tree that had fallen over, and in their own mind creating,
In their own
they
mind.
decided they would make a boat out of that tree. And they carved it out.
See how the mind can think ahead?
This is the starting of Chris Craft
The
boats.
process.
Imagine.
And
So-
then the product.
So then people saw them, and they said, "Can you make us one?" So they started to make the boats for other
Creativity,
people,
networking.
and then it just grew from there.
Wow.
So it's
I love that.
well, you have a story also we wanted to talk about.
Yes.
on
I
how,
was
how
searching.
creativity
Yeah, but
can
that
change
goes to show
someone's
you the
life.
process refers to how creative a process can start in your mind, in your heart, and then the product begins, and all of a sudden it takes off step by step. Anyway, I read a little bit of this to Jim, and when Deathly Hallows, the 7th book in the Harry Potter series, went on sale in 2007, hysteria surrounded its release. I remember that.
Yes.
Lines of children, teens, and parents, many dresses, they were dressed up waiting in lines for their favorite Harry Potter characters. They were all for hours, overnight, sometimes 48 hours, a long, how do you do? I remember that. In front of bookstores to get their copies, whatever it took. So many lines, in fact, filled with so many people. And the store sold, listen to this, 8.3 million copies
Wow.
in the U.S. in the first 24 hours. The book sold to another equally enthusiastic 3 million readers in other markets within the same time frame. Even before its release, the frenzy surrounding this book was unlike any other book for the publishing company, and the publishing history is similar to at least a few, they're saying, of the previous Harry Potter book releases. The books launched J.K. Rowling once on welfare.
Imagine she was on welfare.
Yes, into becoming the first billion-dollar author in history.
Wow.
She also won numerous awards and received many honors, too numerous to even list.
Inspiring, isn't that?
So that is really and truly a wonderful inspiration.
Going from
what a
welfare to
story.
becoming a multi-million-dollar.
What a story.
Earner.
Creativity.
Yes.
The big C, creativity. That's how you look at it. The fields of psychology and the creativity applies to so much. And, there's also the 6 P's of creativity. Like I said, the process, product, personality.
Gotta have personality.
Oh, yeah. Place, persuasion, and potential.
There's a song, Personality.
Yeah. You've got personality,
Walk with personality, talk with
Oh.
personality,
Smile,
with
oh, what a smile, talk, personality, love, personality, plus you got a great big heart,
See?
so
Big heart.
over and over, I'll be a fool for you, and over, what more can I do, cause you've got personality,
walk with
personality, talk, personality, oh, what a smile, walk, da-da-da-da.
Love it.
Great song. Talk about upbeat. Da-da-da-da-da. Great creative achievements that become known to the entire world is what can happen.
That's right.
So,
Now, my beloved Barbara always told me to be adventurous. So this past year,
as long as I've known you, you've always been that
and this
way.
past year, I revealed that I had auditioned for a play. Remember?
Yes.
So I thought today would be fun to bring my resume and my headshot, because when you go for an audition, you have to have a headshot,
Yep.
right? So this was my headshot. But by the way, a dear friend, Anisi Carella, is the one that photographed that for me with a whole host
Anisi?
of other photographs.
What's the last name,
Anisi.
Carella?
Carella.
I knew a
K-A-I.
Carrillo. That's why I'm
This is
asking.
K-A-I-R-A-L-L-A.
This is C. Okay, Carrillo.
Yeah.
Louis Carrillo. Okay.
She's a dear friend, and she shot professional photos for my legal
For your-
career
yeah.
and real estate. So I made this headshot. But then you also need a resume. So I thought back of all the things that I had written, and on my resume, the first listing is Bright Horizons with Deb and Jim, because we create every week.
That's right.
Thank you, Deb.
We do. Thank you, Jim.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you.
Secondly, I had created a show called A Night at the Copa.
Oh, a night at the Copa.
Remember the song Baronello?
Copacabana.
Well, that's all about Lola. So,
Lola, she was a
Showgirl.
showgirl. Feathers in her hair and a dress cut down to there. She did merengue
Okay.
and
Did
do
the
the
cha-cha.
cha-cha. Cha.
so I wrote a whole play about
Okay.
Lola, who
Lola.
eventually buys the Copa, and she's there on a walker at the end of the show.
I
So
could picture the
that-
comedy in that.
yes,
That's funny.
And it was a musical too, so we had people. Then I had a talent show called Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
And was that Anne
Viva-
Margaret?
Anne Margaret,
Margaret.
Elvis Presley.
Yes. Then I remember they used to have murder mysteries.
Yes.
So I wrote one about
the murder mystery
in-
shows too.
inheriting property called Whose Property Is It Anyway? That was fun. You had to decide who the beneficiary was of his will. Anthony Malditesta. And Malditesta means headache. Most people don't know that, but I picked that purposely. Malditesta.
Marty Testa. Ah.
Then I wrote a show called Thursday Night Live, which was like Saturday Night Live, like a talk show, a news show, but called Thursday Night Live, and that was a lot of fun too. And then, as you all know, I've been Santa Cruz at Christmas.
Yes, Mr. Santa Cruz.
I've been the Great Zio, a magician, and I've been Jimbo the Clown. So I have all that on my resume.
Creativity.
That's my resume, my entertainment
Bravo.
resume.
I love it. You know, that's what's so
It's
fun
it's
because
just a beautiful experience.
right, and you
yeah.
know, this is what you do, Jim, and I this is why I value our friendship. I truly do, and it's just a wonderful thing because you take life with the word gusto, and you do everything you possibly can. You may have an off day, but you know what? You're not going to let that interfere.
Thank
You never have, and you never will.
You're the same way.
That's
It's
I.
beautiful to be
That's
upbeat
why
like that.
we
Yes.
we get along so well.
Yes.
I strive to get, I mean, upbeat every single day. You strive for
That's right. We all have
it's sometimes
challenges,
difficult,
but
sure. I'm
there's
not saying
so many
it's
positive things we can create. That's
so
the
I
beauty
just
of it.
wipe them out and say, okay, get over yourself and get over it, and then go on because you know what? It's not going to be like this forever. Nothing stays the same.
Right.
So we know this, and with that being said,
But you can create anything. That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
Everything you do is creating. You know, even when you're at work, you can develop new techniques,
right.
different ways of looking at things. You know, we're constantly creating. So be
And
proud
yeah,
of what you
this-
create.
Exactly.
And we want to encourage you to do that.
Greg and his cooking, same thing. Everybody who's got the, well, we all know the creativity, but we just need to show it more and use it more and make yourself feel happy because your happiness is going to show.
You're sharing yourself with the world, and
Right.
you know you need to be sharing yourself with the world. So we're back with Out of My Mind and Into Your Heart. Marie Pinchot.
Creativity.
Another essay. Why
Now,
we
this
create.
This is why we create.
Why
right?
we create.
Well,
Have you ever looked at a painting or a piece of sculpture and said, I could do that?
yes. I
Or
know.
when viewing an amazing sunrise or sunset, wish you could paint? At one time or another, we have all wished we could be more creative. Some people are born with creative genes. In others, the talent needs development. But we are all creative to one degree or another. When you use a cookbook to prepare a special dish, do you add an extra ingredient or two? If so, you're being creative. Have you thought of a new method to improve a project at your office? You are using your creative mind in business. Do you sometimes play musical lamps in your home? You are using your creative talent for decorating. Do you search for just the right scarf or a piece of jewelry as an outfit? If so, you are experiencing your creativity at play in the field of design. Perfect for Deb. We use creativity
I
in
love
almost
that.
every phase of our lives. Yet when asked if we are artistic, sometimes say, I can't draw a single line. Creativity is making something new or a new way of
Right,
doing.
Right.
Georgia O'Keeffe, the famous artist, said, I don't see why we ever think of what others think of what we do, no matter who we are.
Yeah.
Isn't it enough to just express oneself? Creativity is its own reward. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
Amen. That is lovely.
Making
I love
art is
that.
a wonderful, rewarding activity,
It's
but
its
it's
own
seldom,
reward. How
seldom
profound
accomplished
is that?
easily. Yes. Beautiful, Marie. Thank you.
Out of
I
my
love your
heart.
wisdom, Marie.
Oh my goodness. When we were at Marie's, we had so much fun, but we also spoke an awful lot, all of us together at the table, and how we came to be, and it was so much fun sharing
Yes.
all that. the creativity behind Marie, and just it was able, just like a family
It's a
get
blessing.
together,
Yes,
and it
it's
was
a
so
blessing.
nice to hear how she began and why she began, and
And
it
then
really is. And
I
it makes
met her
you
through the PJ Community News because
networking. You see,
she's
creativity.
one of the writers for the newspaper.
Right.
And then
And Marie also does a beautiful column when that the website Seabreeze Publications.
Right.
You'll see Marie Pinchmit in the publication as well. So that's how you met. There you go. Good example. So you never
I
know.
found a couple of good quotes too. Everything you can imagine is real, Pablo Picasso.
Oh
Imagine?
yes, I've heard of that. And
Everything
that's-
you imagine is real.
Everything you imagine. Why would you imagine? It's real.
And then Mark Twain said,
I love
"The
Mark
man
Twain.
with a new idea is a crank until the new idea succeeds," which is true.
Ah.
You know.
Can you say that again? I like
the
that.
man with a new idea is a crank until the new idea succeeds.
I like
So until
that
you're
very
successful,
much.
you're thinking to yourself, it's
Eh,
yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually you'll succeed if you keep trying. You know,
Right.
Albert Einstein had so many attempts at things.
Another one. Amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
And then
what a mind on
look at
him.
all the successes. So
Oh my goodness. What a
don't
mind's on
don't
him.
let challenges stop you. Just keep plugging away, and you'll be successful.
Always don't
We
let
love
it
that.
stop you.
And what a difference a day makes.
What a difference a day makes. And with that being said, you know what that means.
Time for the
Here-
tambourine.
There we go. What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. What a difference a day makes. And the difference is you and you and you. You better believe you make a difference. We're happy to be with
all
you.
of our lives.
And be creative. Think of something creative. Send us your creative thoughts. Do whatever makes you happy. Smile, because you have to always remember to keep your horizons bright. Until next time, mwah,
Share
have
your
a great
thoughts with
day.
us. Please share your thoughts. Send us